Welcome here to Andy Moore Field. It's a huge Big Ten softball clash today. The first and second place teams in the Big Ten Conference standings will clash here on this Saturday afternoon. I'm Austin Renner with Connor Hines. And Connor, today's matchup, first-ranked Michigan Wolverines gets the second-ranked Indiana Hoosiers in the Big Ten. Yesterday's matchup, it was close for a couple innings, but Michigan really showed their muscles down the stretch and pulled away from the Hoosiers.
Yeah, they really did. Of course, Indiana jumped out to the early start. Taylor Uden providing the lone little bit of offense for Indiana, but from there it was all Michigan in the fourth and fifth innings. Indiana's going to need to have a little bit of short-term memory today if they want to bounce back quickly today against the Wolverines.
The Michigan Wolverines have been so dominant all season, winners of 33 of their last 34. What are they doing so well that's put them at this incredible spot in the season?
Well, it's really unbelievable. And one thing Michigan really knows how to do is schedule a good non-conference season. They had Florida, Florida State, the likes of Virginia Tech and Texas in their preseason schedule alone. I think that really readied them for the Big Ten season, and it's shown so far.
Well, stepping into the batter's box to start things off for Michigan is a junior utility player, Faith Canfield. And the first pitch is outside for ball one, and that's Tara Trainer. Connor, talk to us a little bit about what Trainer's been able to do this season for the Hoosiers.
Well, she's clearly the ace on this team, 15-15 on the season now. A rough start for Trainer.
As that's a ripped through the left side of the infield into left field for a single, and Canfield has Michigan on base early in this one.
Yeah, and this has been the weak spot for Tara Trainer, if there has been one all season for her. It's these first couple innings locking that down, and if she can get through the first couple, and it's pretty smooth sailing from there for the Hoosier ace.
Natalie Peters next up for the Wolverines. Junior from San Diego, California. It's your neck of the woods, Connor.
Yeah, there we go.
First pitch in there, a little high for ball one. Little running start for Peters, and you see a lot of players do that. We'll see a few Hoosiers do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoosiers get on the base paths, and they're certainly a threat.
Trainer in there for strike one of this at-bat, making the count 1-1 for Peters. All Big Ten second team last season. Plays out in the outfield, center field for Peters. On base is Canfield with an early single for the Wolverines. The pitch from Trainer, just outside for ball two.
Yeah, and Tara Trainer's record and sort of progression through this season really reflects that of the entire Indiana team. Really rough start to the non-conference schedule. You mentioned the 7-21 start for the Hoosiers as a whole, but then Trainer was able to bounce back nicely and has gotten some much-needed wins.
I went in there for strike two, and you mentioned the slow start for Indiana. Also, subjectively, a slow start for Michigan, 3-3 to start the season, and they have rallied off 30. They have rallied off 33 of their last 34, including 15 straight for the Wolverines. They are 15-1 in conference, as that one's chopped down to Trainer, and she just barely makes the play at first. So the Hoosiers get the first out of the inning after Trainer had to hesitate a little bit before firing over to first base.
2 singles as well as a walk.
And he's reached base in 9 straight games, has Shipley, and has hit in 7 of those 9 games.
Shipley sets back up shop, 2-2. On the mound today for Indiana, it's the righty junior, Paulie Milto. Third team All-Big Ten last year as Shipley fouls this one off. Arguably the ace on a very good pitching staff.
Yeah, he's been great this year. I mean, you look at things like he threw a complete game against Boston College, allowed just 4 hits, struck out 8, probably his best game of the season. His last outing, 0 earned runs, going 6 innings against the Butler Bulldogs last week, and Paulie Milto has been a really solid Saturday starter for the Hoosiers.
It's now a full count on pitch number 6 of the first batter for Milto, who sets back up. Milto stands at 6'3", 240. The payoff. misses low and inside, and that will start the game off with a walk, not the way the Hoosiers were hoping to start. And they got great pitching yesterday. Through the first 8 innings, it was all Jonathan Stever, and short of giving up 1 2-run homer to Jackson McGowan, he was excellent all day long.
The pitching staff coming into this series was first in the Big Ten with a 2.68 ERA. That's 6th nationally. So this is a really good starting pitching rotation for Indiana. Of course, starting with Stever and Milto, and they're looking for another solid performance today from their stud, Paulie Milto.
That strikeout to walk ratio, not exactly what you want to see at this point in the season, though, Austin.
No, not quite. 13 strikeouts to 23 walks this season for Stroh. He actually pitched against Indiana last season, went 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, 3 earned runs, and struck out 4. He also allowed a long ball in that game against the Hoosiers.
Stroh misses outside. The count is 2-2. Stroh earlier in the season had been dealing with a split fingernail that really bothered him for a couple of games, but the Purdue staff said he's not a guy who likes to complain an awful lot. As Kalitha hits it over towards short, the toss to first. Nice job there by Harry Shipley to make the play for the first out of the inning. And he just kind of played through it, but there's no doubt it affected him now. He's feeling healthy, he's feeling good, and ready to have a good start today, hopefully.
Well, what's crazy is they won most of the games that was an issue for him. Is they won 6 of his 7 games so far this season, even with that index finger. But you're right, his performance has not quite been there, but a 3.12 ERA, he's 4-0, 34 innings pitched, and opponents are hitting .240 against him. He has still been solid even with that little distraction of the index finger.
Matt Lloyd up next for Indiana. Lofts that one out. It's going down the third base side, venturing into foul territory, trying to make the play off the grass and into the dirt. Evan Warden able to make the play. Good job by Warden, not losing it in the sun. 2 up and 2 down very quickly for Stroh and company.
Great start for Purdue. You get a run in the top of the inning and quickly taking care of the first 2 for the Hoosiers. Not starting today, Luke Miller, a guy you'd normally see here in the do-up of the first inning. He's not starting for the Hoosiers, which brings up Logan Sowers in the 3-hole.
Logan Sowers, the right fielder today, stepping up third for the Hoosiers. You mentioned it was the index finger on that left hand as a hit is lined into center field, and the Indiana able to get on base. The first hit for either team of the afternoon. Logan Sowers, nice piece of hitting there, and aggressive, a first pitch hit.
Yeah, that was really good by Sowers. Just a lot of times coaches tell you to not swing at the first pitch, especially in your first at-bat. You're trying to see what the pitcher is offering you in your first time facing him, but Sowers just liked that pitch he saw. He hopped on it, and sometimes pitchers don't even expect you to swing at the first pitch, and I think he may have caught Stroh off guard. Pretty good turnout tonight for a winter break matchup between the Hoosiers and the Mastodons. Indiana come out in their home cream uniforms with crimson trim and lettering. For Fort Wayne, they're in their road blue uniforms with white lettering and trim. Deron Davis will tip for Indiana. Xavier Taylor will tip for the Mastodons. Indiana moving right to left. The tip is up into the air, and the Mastodons end up collecting it, and John Conchar has it in the backcourt for Fort Wayne. Moving left to right, Conchar dribbles to the right wing. Gets it off now for Harrell. Top of the key, Levitch swings it around to Conchar, left side. Levitch back between the circles. Gets it off right side for Scott. The Scott brothers 5-0 in their careers against Indiana. Conchar backing down Johnson, hands it off to Scott on the baseline. In the corner, Scott pull up 3, air ball short, and that's a shot clock violation. And with 19:28 to go in this first half, Indiana will get their first offensive possession of the game.
And that was some great defense. Indiana switching screens, trying to make sure Scott can't get past them, and the pick and roll could be a problem in that situation, but not on that possession.
Josh Newkirk with it on Indiana's first offensive possession of the game. Left wing, Newkirk gives off to Johnson. Johnson top of the key for the streaking Jawan Morgan. Durham, freshman inside to Deron Davis. Back out top of the key for Robert Johnson. To the basket, pull-up jumper. Robert Johnson knocks it down. And the Hoosiers have the first basket of the game. 19:03 to go first half. 2-0 Indiana. Conchar. Right wing Scott, open 3.
Rattles out, and Robert Johnson the rebound for Indiana. He'll push the pace across the timeline. Right wing, Jawan Morgan. Morgan driving in on Levitch. Reverse layup is good. Jawan Morgan picks up where he left off. It's 4-0 Indiana with 18:41 to go in the first half. Scott drives down the right baseline, spins around Newkirk to the basket, misses the lay-in, but a foul. And Bryson Scott is heading to the free throw line for a pair with a foul on Josh Newkirk, the first on the Indiana Hoosiers. 18:36 first half. It's 4-0 Indiana, and Bryson Scott, the Fort Wayne native, at the line for two.
Those first couple possessions, Indiana was making a concerted effort to find Scott. That time, just got away from his man and was able to get to the basket.
Scott, first free throw is good. 84% free throw shooter on the season. We've mentioned their road struggles. They have even struggled at the free throw line on the road, just 70%. On the flip side, Indiana struggled all season from the charity stripe, so something to watch tonight. Bryson Scott, a sure shooter, only gets 1 of 2 from the line. It's 4-1 Indiana. Josh Newkirk has it for the Hoosiers. Durham on the left wing gets a screen from Jawan Morgan. Picks up his dribble, gets it to Morgan, who hands it right back to Durham. Slashes to the basket. Durham out of control inside, throws it up, misses it, but the tip back is good by the freshman. Durham stuck with it at 6-1 Indiana, 18:11 to go in the first half. Conchar stripped away by the big man, Deron Davis. Then Robert Johnson's taken away from behind by Bryson Scott. Scott, top of the key, kicks it out to Conchar. Shot fake on Newkirk. Conchar hands it off. A 3 ball from Harrell is good. Payson Harrell knocks down the first field goal of the game for Fort Wayne. It's 6-4 Indiana with 17:45 in the first.
Top of the second here at Parkview Field on Tin Caps Radio. I'm Austin Render with you here in downtown Fort Wayne for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Burlington Bees and the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. The Bees took Game 1 6-2 yesterday with 8th and 9th inning fireworks. Today, already some fireworks here in the first inning. The Bees scored on a single and a double in the top of the first, and then Estiori Ruiz. Back-to-back days the Tin Caps have had a first inning homer. It was Ruiz today, tying it up at 1. Cosgrove deals to Garcia. It's ball 1 to start the top of the second. The lefty on the mound against the righty, Julio Garcia. Starting at second base today for Burlington. And a swing and a miss, and then he lets the bat fly, and it hits the netting above the dugout and drops innocently into the beehive. Chalk that up and put some sticky on it. Make sure he doesn't do that again. It's a 1-1 count on Julio Garcia. Let that one slip away a little bit. So Tom Cosgrove, who has also, like Santos, been in a lot of relief appearances this year, and he lets it go again. This one on a foul ball that goes out of play. The bat flies into the dugout. They're going to have to put some pine tar on that bat or something, because Garcia cannot hold on to it. He has swung twice in this at-bat, and both times the bat has not stayed with him. He's endangering his teammates over there, who I'm sure will get a good laugh out of it as long as they don't get pegged with the bat. So 1-2 count. Cosgrove deals. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. He does hold on to the bat, but his at-bat is over, and that's the first out of the top of the second.
Catcher number 12, Harrison Winston, today's Hoosier Lottery strikeout batter of the game. Who strikes out during tonight's game? The adults 18 or older. Section 110.
Crazy Pin strikeout batter.
Hoosier Lottery ticket.
There's a Hoosier Lottery strikeout batter of the game. It's Harrison Winston. Yesterday it was Garcia, and he struck out in the 9th inning. Today it's Winston. And Winston fouls it off on the first pitch of his at-bat. His first occurrence of facing Tom Cosgrove. A very open stance
his right foot on the back inside corner of the batter's box. That one skips in on an 0-1 pitch to make it 1-1. His left foot in the middle of the batter's box. So very open stance for Harrison Wenson. Wenson just got back from a rehab assignment with the Arizona League Angels. Watches the 1-1 high for ball 2. Got back after the rehab assignment from July 11th to the 16th. He played on the 16th in their last game of the series against Great Lakes. Did not play yesterday. On the 2-1, pops it up out of play. And it will land on the roof above us. 2-2 count, 1 out, base is empty for the catcher Wenson. In that last game he played in, he's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Here he is on the 2-2, a swing and a miss in the dirt. It gets past for Fernandez, but he scoops it up, fires to first. And that's the second out of the game, and that was the strikeout batter of the game, and it's accomplished already in the first inning.
Congratulations.
1-1 here. Top of the second. 2 outs for the Bees, and stepping into the batter's box is first baseman Connor Fitzsimons. 2 for 5 with a pair of RBIs yesterday. And he watches the first pitch of the at-bat go into the zone for strike 1. Cosgrove, quick to fire. This one a grounder to short. Arias scoops, fires, and completes the play for out number 3, and we're done with an inning and a half. Through the top of the second, it's 1-1 between the Bees and the Tin Caps here on Tin Caps Radio.